We're gonna solve this today, bro. We're gonna solve this today. And if you're new here, our mission is to produce. Our mission is to reduce risks for children and vulnerable people online, and probably produce some good content, educational content you can find here on our channel. Educational content about teaching you about different types of online risks and the activities that we do, pushing for changes. Age verification is a huge one. We're also watching this trial over here on the right-hand side. This is the trial of KGM. Her name is Kaylee, and she is a 19-year-old. 19-year-old. Yeah, 19-year-old. She was suing TikTok, Snapchat, Meta, and Google. And I'll keep these up on screen. I'm gonna kind of read them, while I'm trying to figure these puzzles out. Trying to figure this puzzle out. This is my main goal for today, is to finish this puzzle. There's just so many different types of puzzles. Figured out a few of them, but like nothing as far as substantial. Let me just need to reduce. Gotta reduce the quality of this one window. All right, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. So, yeah, we're gonna be solving this puzzle today on screen. And while we're at it, you can also be reading up on this legal case that's happening right now in California. Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, working for Mark Zuckerberg, was the last that I knew of as far as somebody who testified. And if you don't know what this puzzle is, it is um, an association puzzle. We have a tree and it needs to be associated with 35 trees. It needs to be associated. Each tree needs to have a quote unquote tent. Those tents are the purple circles. Purple circles, the tents can't be diagonal to another tent. One tree can be vertical or horizontal to one tent must be vertical or horizontal to a tree. It can't be on a diagonal. And that's where we're at. Oh, also on the right-hand side and bottom, you'll see these are the numbers of tents. How many tents that are in that direction? So we can have 4 tents in this row, and we don't know what the possibility is, or we don't know what the right answer is. It's kind of a weird puzzle like that, where you're solving something that, I mean, there must only be one combination of tents to trees. There must be. So once we kind of arrive at that point, then I'm thinking that we need to decipher what these numbers will mean, because I'm 100% positive that the numbers that these tents are on are going to have some sort of purpose. I have made the column and row numbers, and yeah, I guess that's all you need to know at this point. And I'm a volunteer with Defend nonprofit, and our mission is to reduce risks for children and vulnerable people online. And we have made Dating Square, which is the world's healthiest and safest dating app. And we're working on 65 Square, the world's healthiest 3D social media platform. And I have a tea with me right now, green and ginger tea. And I guess that's all you really need to know. All right. So I think I changed the position. So there are no, there are four possible. No, there are two, three, four, five. There are four possible. So 20% of these rows here get filled. Uh, and I say filled, but there's only one tent that can go in here. So one of these five squares, 2, 8, 4, 3, or 8, one of these can be filled. Now, it may be helpful. I don't know yet. It may be helpful to understand what the numbers mean. I really don't think that we're going to be able to decode properly what the numbers mean until we have all the numbers. Like I just don't think that we're going to be able to hear what they're trying to say. All right, let's get it going here. I'm going to suggest that if you have any comments, that you can put them in the comment section, on the stream, or in the comments below if you're watching this after the stream is done. I want to kind of see first if there is a pattern to the numbers that surround a tree, because that may help. So let's look at this tree. 9, 2, 4, 7, 2. So 2 appears twice. This 2 cannot be. Let's take a look at this one. Cannot be 5. All right, I'm getting it. I'm not getting it. 16. um, yeah, I can't spot any kind of pattern. It's kind of hard as well because some trees are beside each other, which means that they group together the same types of numbers or the same numbers. Yeah, I can't see any kind of pattern, even, odd, adding the numbers, duplicate numbers within the same area. It does appear that if there is a duplicate, that it could be disqualified from one set. So this set, this group up here, we've got 9s on both sides of the trees. So this one, these guys can't be together. These guys can't be together, which essentially disqualifies them from the other tree. Now, I have seen this already again. Where did I see this? Where else? Right here. So 2 for sure can't be used. But that's just an effect of 2 not being able, or the numbers not being able to, or the tents not being able to be diagonal to another tent or the tree. So yeah, I don't know that there's any, I don't know that there's any pattern to uh the actual numbers in the background. I think those are just going to be something that we read after we've solved the puzzle. All right. So top row, A row. One, two, three, four, five. This is interesting. We have five. We have the ability to have three numbers inside five numbers or five available spaces or five tenths inside five available spaces. So maybe I can narrow down this one because that is 66%. No, it's above 50%. So, like, what do we make of that? Also, let's move another article here. Smart addiction. Smart addiction. All right, I think we can nail down this bottom row here. I think. And what helps us, I think, is this row. I think what helps us here is this row with one. So we can only have one tenth. Do we have a row with one intersecting with a row of three? With so many other rows on the board, it's hard to believe that this one. Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't. Okay, so I was mistaken. All right, so this one is kind of, let's rule this one out as far as this tree is concerned. But I guess it so if it is that we rule it out for this tree, that this is not the spot for one for this tree, it would also mean it is not belonging. So let's say theoretically, I put a tent here. It couldn't belong to this tree. And then I couldn't have something here. Hmm. I think we can rule this one out. I'm so we've got such a heavy cluster of trees over here, and they've got a lot of barricaded areas. So for this tree alone, it's got one space available, two space available, three space available. And these tents can't be on a diagonal. We have a lot of diagonals here. So I think we're kind of close. So let's kind of get rid of this guy for a minute. Oh, what's going on here? Am I frozen here? Oh, that's because I have drawing on. All right, in this collection of two trees, so let's say tree number 1 and tree number 2 could be here, could be here, could be here, could be here. So 4 spaces or 7 spaces available for the other tree. But you place one, and then that helps to decide where you can place the other. Because if I place here, can't place here. This one is then irrelevant. You could only place here and here. So if I place here, can't place here, can only place these two. But if I place here, can't place here, can't place, could place here, could place here, and could also place here. So one direction gives us 3 options. The other option gives us, the other direction gives us 2 options. Let's look at this one. So this tree here can't go here. Now you have 4 options. I don't want to concentrate on that one. We've got 4 options here. And we've got 3 options over here. 3 or 2. And then here we've got 3 options. So if I choose this row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, bro. 6, 7. I have 3 tents that can be set up in 7 spaces. High probability that these two could receive clear this out here. High probability that these two would yield one tent, either horizontally or vertically here. And is number 7 here the only one? Is it probable that number 7 here is the only one in this row clustered together with these 3 trees? And I'm going to say no. So let's remove 7 from the equation here. Therefore, 2 or 5 remains as a possibility for this one tree here, just for this one tree. And most definitely, I think that it's a possibility for at least one of these, either 5 or 6, to be utilized just by virtue of three squares being used in this row of 7 available. But let's look over here and see if we can eliminate in this row, this column. If we utilize 2, here, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4. We need to fill up 4 in. So I don't like, I really want to try and nail down this row of 4 and this row of 4. So this row of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10. What is that? That is 57% of these. So more than 50%. So 3 of these are empty without a tent. 17, 17, 23, 23, 28, 28, 35, 36. Do we have any repeating numbers? We do. We have 5. We have multiple 5s in this column. Multiple 1s. So we have 2 1s and then multiple 5s. Wait, where's the third 5? I thought there was 3 5s. Yeah, okay, so there's 3 5s. Three 5s and 2 1s. How do I calculate the odds of a 5 and a 1 being taken? I mean, so 7 total spaces. Like, I'm sure that there's some mathematical, yeah, but I mean, I don't think these numbers are playing a role at this initial stage here. All right, let's focus back on this area in the bottom left-hand corner. So this particular tree, let's call it tree number 1 here, can have this one, or this one. So there are 3 options for this tree. For this, this is 1, 2, or 3 options for this tree. Then for this tree, there are 3 possible options. Remove one of those options, and that starts to limit the options of the other trees. Add another tree in, and what happens? In this area, we've got 1 here, 2 here, 4. We've got 4 possible options here as well. Let's see something in the middle of the puzzle. So 1 option, 2 options, 3 options, 4 options. And then we've got 1 option, 1 tree here. We've got another 4 options. Yeah, in the middle seems to be obvious. So definitely an increase in options. Is there a tree that only has 2 options? That is the tree to find. Because then you only have a 50-50 chance. It looks like not by default. by default, the minimum amount of options. The minimum amount of options is three spaces where a tent can occupy. It doesn't look like there is. I'm just scrolling my eyes up and down. It does not look like there is. Although, when we take a look at this row here, we have this tree that, yeah, I guess that still doesn't matter. Still. All right. So we start with a tree that has three different options. And then start shifting until we can't shift anymore and until we break something else, I guess. There has to be thousands and thousands of possibilities. All right, so we got one option here, one option here, one option here, one option here, one option here. I don't think something starting with one in a row is the right place to start. I think we focus on populating these four rows properly. Yeah, this one and this one. That's where our focus is right now. All right, let's assume that these are correct. All right, so I've got four placed in these four with four rows. And I've got four in a row of three at the bottom. So likely that if this is the case, so if this is staying here, this one can't stay here. Then we assume that this one cannot stay here. These guys can't be together. Hmm. This row doesn't work. If this selection of 4 is correct, this one doesn't work with this guy here. And then we have this guy here. These guys can't work together. That means the only place for this guy is here. So this guy doesn't work together here. This is the only position for one of these is the only position for this guy here. So one of these is wrong here. All right, so let's configure this here. That can't be. That can't be. If that's the case, then this one is this can't be here. This can't be here. So yeah, we can't have this position filled, I think. So we need one of these spaces beside this tree needs to be filled. And that makes sense because we've only got two groups of trees to be filling over here. Or sorry, 3 groups of trees. But look at this. So we have 3 max in this thing, in this area. Can we have we can technically have that. Which means that this cannot. And we're moving it to a row where only one would exist. There's 2 in it. This row doesn't work over here. That doesn't work. Can't have triangulation of tents. 4. If you have one here, you cannot have one here. So you got to really start looking at, I'm going to start looking at what's kind of apparent to me is that if we look at a row like groupings of trees, it only yields a small number of possibilities, especially when we have 4 tenths going in a row. It significantly increases our odds that we can find one possible combination. So like these two trees here, can't have so is it possible? All right. Need to have 3 on this line. This guy. 3. Missing a dent here. I think the constraint of working with a 1 row next to a 3 row, there might be something here. So I need on column 15 and 14 and 15. This might be the key. So in this row, do I think that of this first column, that the lonely one is filling up this? I would say no. If I position here, then that means that this guy is no longer here, but this guy needs to be here. These guys, this shifts this. Let's put that there. Oh, this is a 1 row. And this also shifts this guy to here or here. Two, three. These guys can't be here. Two, three, four. Still missing my fourth one over here. Position this here. Fourth. One, one, two, three. One. Let's see about this here. Two, three, four. Four. Now, I know what you're probably thinking if you're like a dweeb. You're probably thinking like, why doesn't he write some Python and program all these parameters and run a Python script to figure out all the different permutations? And that is a great question. And I hate coding. I like it, but I hate it. I let that be a job for other people. And the amount of time it would take to write that code for ChatGPT might be a few minutes, might be 30 minutes. But then figuring out whether or not it's like, how do you test that? How do you test the code? How do you test this code if you do something like that? Yeah, the accuracy becomes the problem. But if you script this from scratch yourself, yeah, maybe you increase your chances of success here. Got three on the bottom. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2. So here or here, both of these cannot be filled up. So we've got one choice to be made here, one choice to be made here, one choice to be made here. One choice to be made here. Another choice to be made here. So we've got One choice, two choices, three choices, four. We've got five choices to make. One of them is wrong. And on this row of four, again, we've got an intersecting one choice, two choices, three choices, four choices, five choices, six choices to be made. Two of them are wrong. I think I'm close to something here. Not looking at them as spaces anymore, looking at them as choices to be made, groups of choices to be made. So this choice here, do I have one choice here or one choice here? Do I want to make but if I go here, I still need to have a I still need to have a guy here. Let's run this. And therefore, if this stays here, this cannot be here. And then we are flopped. Cannot have one here. So this guy cannot go here, and then this guy cannot go here. Could go here. But then where's my other tent? I want for this guy. I have this here. I do that there. Cannot have this here. This cannot be here. This was the mandatory one here. Then I need to find a new home for this guy, which makes sense because I can shift this guy here. Hmm. But then I need 3 over here. That don't work. Unless I shift this guy here. Nope. Nope. Take it at the top. I mean, this is just literally hoping to stumble across the right combination. Because, like, using logic to solve this, like, you don't have enough information. You are basically confronted with dead ends after you've made choices. It is impossible if you don't use mechanical means to just get to a series of combinations of so like I mean think about how serious this puzzle is. If you're thinking about something over here, it's affecting something over here, and it's impossible for a human brain to compute this. Impossible. Therefore, it's just a series of random tries and then trying to evaluate, which then kind of calls into question the purpose of this game. This is all just basically a game of chance. It's not a game of skill, unless you're using, again, mechanical means to help you solve. And if that's the case, that's technically not against the rules. So, yeah, that kind of bugs me. That does bug me. Two ones intersecting. That one can go here. All right. So I've got all of the rows as they are supposed to be. So all my vertical rows where I fail, though, where I'm failing, is this row. 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 or these are columns, by the way. This row, column. This row. This row. And all right, so can I make one move to have this row be in compliance? Well, let's start with this one, 4. Or sorry, column 6. Need 4 in this. If I shift this to this, that means that this has to be here. This must be here. Still have 4 here. Now I have 3 here. 1 here. Now I'm in compliance with this row. Now I'm in compliance with row 4. Or sorry, column 6. Does this affect others? Because I just touched the top. One, 3. Okay, so I'm still in compliance now with my rows. And now I've reduced what I'm non-compliant about. So this one is now gone. So I'm in compliance with this. Am I in compliance now with this? Yes. I'm now in compliance with this. I'm now out of compliance with this. Still out of compliance with this one. What about this one here? Oh yes, I'm now in compliance with this one. Did I shift things for this? Nope, still in compliance. All right. So at this particular juncture, I am what I think is about 75% complete. Do I shift let's see if I can adjust this guy. This row here, number 2, column 2, without breaking the other ones. So if I move this here, then I will break this row. If I move it here, I will break this column. If I move this here, I this. If I move this here, I have to move this. If I this to here, I have to move this and this. This is my row 4 though, remember that. So I could shift this here. Shift here. Shift this here. Shift. No, that doesn't work. Shift this here. Breaking that. Shift this. Shift this here. Shift this here. Shift this here. Shift this here. All right, so let's take inventory for shit not in compliance. Here, here. Ooh, that's a mistake. That's an oversight here. All right, I think this is the closest. Was I closer before? Maybe I was closer before. All right, so I'm not in compliance with this row. Not in compliance with this row. Shifting one row to the right, breaks. Shifting one row to the left, breaks. Shifting the right one. So I've got 4, and if I get something into this position here, no, it's not the row that I want. If I shift to one row below, is there one move that I can make that increases compliance? Did you know that Defend Nonprofit is a nonprofit looking to reduce risks for children and vulnerable people online? Get on our website, HelpUsDefend.com, to learn more. That's why I have these news articles up on the right-hand side. Um, we're watching a lawsuit where we're watching a lawsuit out of California that is about social media harms against a 20-year-old woman. All right, shift down. Shift this down to this row and it breaks that row. Cannot go here. Shift this here, and that row goes into compliance, but this one does not. Now I've broken this one. But this one's still in compliance. All right, so this is good. So I have flipped this one to compliant, this one to compliant. But now this one, that one is, that one is. This one's still not in compliant. All right. but I'm not compliant here. Yeah, this row at the bottom is not compliant anymore. So let's take a look at that. If I shift this here, cannot go there if that one's there. If I shift this here, cannot go there if that's there. If I shift the uncompliant rows over here. 1, 2, 3, I've got too many over here. I need to shift one away. Not compliant here. Oops. What is happening here?
Gotta stop. Can't be giving away all my clues.
Oops. Oh, what is happening here?
All right, that's better. That's better. Hey, pops.
It sure is. Now let's try and find a tent. Right. All right, let's do another audit. I need to step away for a couple hours. We've got compliance, non-compliance, compliance, compliance, non-compliance, compliance, 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 non-compliance, non-compliance. All right. So again, hovering somewhere around 65 to 70%, I think, of completion. But that doesn't help you because as we've seen, you shift one way and it affects other parts of the board. And these moves need to be calculated. All right. So get on our website if you want to help protect children and vulnerable people online. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.